Alright guys, it's Phuriate here from Subculture Gaming, going to be talking about the future of Project M and where I kind of see it in the future, just kind of sparking up a bit of a discussion. It also relates to the channel and what I'll be doing in the future too. So, first point about Project M is, where is it going to be next year? I mean, start of, was it last year and onwards when it first came out, well 3.0 anyway, it was a really big success. It was great. Everyone loved it. It was like Melee with fresh characters. It was basically Melee 2.0, but it had a bit more variety into it. It wasn't quite as technical, which allowed new people to get into it, which I think was great. As you know, I did my Project M series. I went to my tournaments as well during the first start of last year. I was really active actually. Went to quite a few tournaments, hosted my own as well, became part of a really big Smash community in the UK, which was nice. But now, over time, just as the way sponsors and stuff are coming in and Nintendo's getting involved a bit more, it's just dying out, unfortunately. It's really dying out and it's not great. I think it's the fact that it's not official as well, but people are scared to stream it. People don't want to stream it because they're just like, oh, we're not going to get sponsored by Twitch, whatever. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, unfortunately. And if people aren't willing to stream it, I know VG Bootcamp haven't, they've kind of stopped with their Project M, and that's just like, whoa, it's just not ideal. Another point I'd like to make is the characters and the tweaking and the balance. So for Project M, we know that, who was top tier last time? It was like Mewtwo, Sonic, Link, like characters like that were never really top tier before in Melee. It kind of started emerging and placing well. I'm not going to say they weren't broken, because they were, to an extent anyway. And I think what they did, the main issue is trying to merge Melee and Brawl together. I mean, the games are completely different, and the way the characters work are different. So, for example, if we take Fox, he's got this shine. If you tell anyone from any other fighting game community you've got a move that comes out in one frame that you can kind of combo into, and then you can jump cancel it to make it safe, everyone's going to be like, well, that's broken. Off the bat, that is broken. But that's what Melee has, and that was one of Fox's components, and I don't expect them to remove that. That's like part of Project M. That's the fundamentals, you know. You've got a character, you've got all these tools. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose what made Melee so great. Even if it was broken, some of it is great. But it's when you come to integrating Brawl characters into it as well. How do you make them fit in without being broken? Because at least with Fox, there's some technicality into it, but and a bit of risk. For example, if you mess up, you're going to get grabbed, you're going to get comboed, you know, like, you know, stuff's going down when you're Fox, you're going to get comboed like shit, really. And with other characters, they kind of look at it in the same way, and then they're just like, okay, no, that's too good, we have to take that out. And it's just like, alright, I can understand that is too good, but what you have before, like Fox and all that, it's all too good as well. So you can't have like a double standard. So either the game's going to be a bit broken overall, or the Melee characters are going to have to lose something, or it's going to be unbalanced. So it's kind of a hard placement. I don't go, oh, Project M are doing a bad job of it. It's hard to balance. I don't think it's an easy thing to do at all. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think as well in terms of what characters are doing best right now. Because after the patch, after 3.5, it seems to me that the Melee top tiers are still really dominant in the game, apart from probably Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff is a bit meh, but everyone else, Fox, Falco, Marth, they're all really solid characters. Sheik, very solid characters, and they just seem a little bit too strong. So it's basically like Melee again, you know? You got all these top tiers, exactly the same ones, and then everyone else is kind of like dribs and drabs underneath. Or there's a couple of good mid-tier characters as well, but yeah. So that's a little bit. It also brings me on to another point, which is it's quite demotivating at times, really. I mean, so you spend all this time working on your character, and then a patch comes out, and then you're just like, okay, so they've nerfed my character, and sometimes it feels unjust, and you're just like, well, I've put in all this work, because people do put in work. People don't just see it as a casual game. Sometimes I know a couple of people in the community that I'm in just got really disheartened when they just see their character get all these changes. Whether it was deserving of it or not, it's just because it's a work in progress. You don't feel safe investing time into a character unless it's a melee top tier, because you know they're going to retain all their stuff. Whereas all the other characters, they're all very up for, they're very debatable as whether they're usable at the minute, or it's just a little bit tough. Another thing I'd say is, with all that, people just dying out of their scene, I'm someone who has kind of stopped playing Project M, stopped putting up videos, as you guys know. Just like Project M is just, I've got no fire anymore. Like when I first started off, I had quite a bit of passion, then got into it, and then patches came in, and it just threw me off course. But that's one thing, you've got to stay in touch with your community. I mean, even if you're not playing events, like you're part of a Facebook group, you're part of the Smash boards, you've got to stay involved with your scene, because things evolve, things change. I think Project M might even come back soon in the future and be amazing again, I'm not saying it's not amazing now, but it's just in terms of how the public are perceiving it. And yeah, that just brings me on to another point, unfortunately, which is I'm going to be doing a lot less Project M, just because I don't really find it fun anymore, and as for the reasons I've described earlier on in this video. It doesn't mean I'm not going to put Project M content out, because I love the game. I've always got a love for that game. I still love my community. I might have like a couple of games here and there that I'll upload, but it's not going to be a primary focus. It never really was for this channel. It just kind of put a couple of tutorials up, and it just kind of spiraled into something. So it'll be a little bit less Project M, but I can understand if you guys want to unsub. I mean, it's a shame, but I just feel like I'm restricted in the content that I can put up at the minute. I feel like, if I'm not going to put up Project M, then I'm going to lose loads of subscribers, and I shouldn't be feeling like that. I mean, I should be able to put up what I want, regardless. I mean, if people like it, people don't, that's something else altogether, but I don't want to be in that position where I'm restricted to a certain game or something. I do this stuff in my free time. I don't make any money off of it. I just enjoy myself. So yeah, I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on what you think I've said. So in terms of Project M, what's happening in your community? Is it the same thing happening? Have you got any ideas, or what's going to be the future in your opinion? And also, if you've got anything to say to me about the channel, that would be great as well. Any feedback is fantastic. So thank you guys again. I know you've not really heard my voice much throughout all these tutorials, but there you go. So thank you guys for listening to me, and I look forward to your feedback. Cheers.